Hi there, Ferial. Do you really think there's a chance, a strong chance, that Zondo will recuse himself tomorrow?
Hi, Sally. I think not. I think that Paul Pretorius, the evidence leader at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, explained very carefully why he doesn't think that a good case has been made for the judge to recuse himself. But if you looked at the judge this morning, it had obviously been a very hard night for him, hearing the long argument by Mr. Musi Sikhakhane and also the threat by Mr. Sikhakhane that should President Zuma be forced to testify, that he would get his client to sit in the chair and say nothing, almost like we saw the former SAA board chairperson Dudu Myeni doing. Now, why this is important is that we have to hear the side of Mr. Zuma because he is so central to this commission.
So let's say he doesn't recuse himself. And as you said, Musi Sikhakhane has already said they're going to either take it all on review or he'll instruct his client not to answer questions. If they take it on review, does that mean that Zuma might not have to sit at all? Will that mean immediately that the former president doesn't have to take the witness stand?
I think that's to be argued. The former president's lawyers believe very firmly that if they table a review application, that will suspend the testimony that Mr. Zuma has been summoned to give this week. It's about the fifth time he's been about times a week has been set down for him, and this is supposed to be that week. It really is the only week left before the commission has to stop hearing testimony. So one set of lawyers believe that such a review application will place his testimony in abeyance, and others believe that there isn't case law in this. So I think we're headed for some more days of argument, whichever way it goes. Otherwise, we're going to see a former president sit in the seat and basically take our version of the fifth, refuse to say anything which may incriminate himself.
I was talking to Professor Kathy Power last night, and there does seem to be some debate. She's saying it's wrong in law to claim you cannot answer to the commission. But of course, obviously, that's a debatable point that hasn't actually been clarified either way. But surely, if Zuma ends up in that witness stand, he absolutely will not be a willing witness. So what will the commission really get out of it?
Well, I suppose, as we saw with Ms. Dudu Myeni, you have to show that you had made an attempt at fairness, that you have put every single one of the allegations facing that person, like we saw the advocate Kate Hofmeyer do, so that the record shows that they were given ample opportunity and a fair opportunity to state their case. So you have to put every single bit of evidence that's been heard, and like Mr. Paul Pretorius said yesterday, that's 257 witnesses, many of whom, let me clarify that, have included Mr. Zuma, at least his administration, in their testimony. So he has many, many questions to answer.
Now, you say it's the less likely option that Judge Zondo will recuse himself. Let's say he does. Will it actually collapse the commission, as Paul Pretorius says? Surely another judge could preside over Zuma's testimony and then write that up as part of the final report?
I'd rather not speculate, but what both Mr. Paul Pretorius and Judge Zondo said yesterday is that would be an almost impossible task to have like a minority opinion judge brought in who writes the part that deals with this week's testimony by the president, because what if they come to different conclusions? And as Judge Zondo pointed out yesterday, this state capture State Capture Commission is chaired by him. It has taken his name. The report has to be in his name, like the TRC report came out in the names of its chairpersons, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu and his assisting chair.
And I suppose it could, if he recuses himself, it could then open the door for other witnesses to say, well, actually, I also have a problem. And that could actually undo everything that the state capture inquiry has amassed. And let's face it, it's a lot of evidence. It's been important to hear, to judge the scale of what looks like a systematic process of state capture. Ultimately, Ferial, do you think it's been worth it? All the money spent, all the time?
Well, I'm a pro-Zondo Commission person, Sally, perhaps because I've sat there since it started 2 years ago. And I feel like it's acted as this massive cautionary moment, and the public airing of the story of state capture for me has been a vital one to understand what happened to us in the past decade and why we sit with all the very many fiscal, social, economic and other problems that we do today. So my own view is that in fact we should have a mini version of the Zondo Commission that sits almost near permanently. I know that's not a popular view.
Thank you so much for your time this evening. We do appreciate it. Daily Maverick Associate Editor Ferial Haffajee.